Which Manchester United players need to leave the club and which should stay?
And then Martial!
David De Gea, stay. This is a no-brainer really. De Gea has been an absolute rock at the back all season. Definite stay. Dean Henderson. This is a tricky one. Henderson's young, but hasn't been getting much game time at Man United. Certainly not the time he needs to improve as a Premier League goalkeeper. Then again, it would be hard to drop De Gea so far this season, so I don't think the club can really be blamed. All that said, it is good to have a good backup goalkeeper, so I'm going to go with stay. Victor Lindelof. Another tricky one. Lindelof isn't a phenomenal defender, but I think he's a good enough substitute and a good enough replacement when another defender's out injured. I'll go with stay. Eric Bailly. Bailly's just not Man United quality. He's not good enough on the ball, and he's not physically strong enough to outmuscle tough strikers on the ball. I think that he has to go. Harry Maguire. I said in my last video that I didn't think that Harry Maguire was a dreadful player, and I think that he had a good game against Leicester, but he's another player that I don't think is quite good enough for Premier League standard. He's not Virgil van Dijk or Ruben Diaz, and for that reason I don't think he'd make the cut if there was a cull of players at the club. Go. Raphael Varane. Stay. He's a good player, he's tall, he's strong, he's confident with the ball, and he's calm under pressure. He was a fantastic addition to the team, and so he definitely has to stay. Diogo Dalot. You know what? I said that United needed a fullback recently, but I think that I'll give Dalot the benefit of the doubt. He's young, and if nothing else, he could be a good replacement right back should the club bring someone in. Stay. Luke Shaw. Now this could start an interesting debate between who's better, Shaw or Telles. Personally, I like Alex Telles' playing style, but I don't think that Luke Shaw's a terrible player by any means. If he played as well for United as he did for England, I'd say he could be really dangerous, but even still, he'd make a good replacement if Telles was off form. Stay. Alex Telles. I sort of spoiled it in Shaw's section, but I think that Telles should stay. I think he's a good player, and in my opinion, he is the best fullback at the club currently. Stay. Aaron Wan-Bissaka. On the other hand, I think Wan-Bissaka looks panicked with the ball at his feet and constantly gets beaten down the right side of the pitch. I don't think he's Man United quality, and so I think he has to go. Paul Pogba. Let's face it, Pogba's going to leave the club. He's an excellent player, but no matter what happens, I think he'll go. So, as much as I'd like for him to stay with United, he will leave, and so I'll go with leave as well. Go. Juan Mata. Mata was an exceptional player for us, but he's past his prime now. He's experienced and matured in the Premier League, but he's too old to carry on competitively against the younger generation of players. Go. Jesse Lingard. I really like Jesse Lingard as a player, and so I'm a bit disappointed not to see him starting or getting much game time at the club this season. I think he could be a really good player, but I don't think United will be the club that he excels for. Go. Fred. Fred has hit a run of form recently, and playing the way he is, I think he's been one of our best midfielders. However, he's too sporadic and inconsistent to repeatedly make the first team. But he could be a good replacement if a player is out momentarily through injury, so I'll go with stay. Bruno Fernandes. Personally, I think Bruno's a brilliant player. Although when he hits a rut of form he doesn't play fantastically, I feel that his good performances outweigh his bad ones, and this makes him a real threat and a world-class midfielder. Stay. Nemanja Matic. Like Juan Mata, Matic is slightly too old to compete with the new pace and stamina of the younger up-and-coming talent in the Premier League. He brings maturity and knowledge of his game to the squad and was a fantastic player in his prime, but despite that is not young enough to play for a big club like Manchester United anymore. Go. Donny van de Beek. As much as I like Van de Beek, there must be something behind the scenes that's preventing him from getting game time. 2 consecutive managers in Ollie and Ragnick have benched him, Ragnick even putting him out on loan, so there must have been something that's stopping him from being a starter. Regardless, I think that if he wants to develop as a player, then he needs to leave and join a club where I'll get regular game time. Go. Scott McTominay. McTominay's an odd one. He's not bad enough to play for a club lower in the league, but he's not good enough to start for Manchester United. He can appear with an occasional screamer, and he's a decent enough holding midfield, but that's about it. He's just decent. I don't think he should be a regular starter for the club, but he'd be a safe substitute player. Stay. Cristiano Ronaldo. This one should seem like a no-brainer. It's Ronaldo, one of, if not the best player of all time. But he's getting old now, and I don't know if he can perform as well as he has been for another season. I'd love Ronaldo to play at Man United forever, but any physical sport is taxing on the body, and I don't know how much longer Ronaldo can play for. Just because it's been great all season, I'll go with stay, but I think that he might consider leaving at the end of this season. Anthony Martial. Martial never really reached the heights expected of him at the club. He was a promised young talent, the next big thing, but he never really managed to achieve the goals that had been set to him. For that reason, I'm going to say go, but I think it's a shame because had he reached his potential, he could have been a fantastic player. Marcus Rashford. I'm going to go controversial here and say that I think Rashford needs to go. A lot of people rate him very highly, but this season he's underperformed. You can blame it on the Euros final or the Europa League penalty shootout, but he hasn't put any effort in for the club this season, and I think it's time for him to move on. Go. Edinson Cavani. Cavani, like Ronaldo, is getting old. I think so far he's had a good season, all things considered, but he can't handle the physicality of younger defenders or the pace of the game. Go. Jadon Sancho. This man has been the best performer in my eyes over the last few weeks. He's been the player that consistently puts in effort, consistently pops up with bits of skill, and consistently pops up with a goal. So I think he could become a very, very good player at United. Stay. Anthony Elanga. Another young talent, Elanga could follow in the footsteps of United youngsters before him and become one of the best players in history. I think if we sell him, it could end up becoming a huge mistake in the long run, a mistake that could end up costing us. Stay. What do you think? Who should stay at the club and who should pack their bags? Let me know in the comments and feel free to like and subscribe if you've not already done so. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.